Nominated for Best Radio Station Imaging at this year's National Student Production Award, we are V89.1 The Roar. Good morning, Nova Nation. It's another Friday with the Morning Roar, and we've got a lot coming up with discussions from sleeping positions to Easter bunnies. And we are also curious about blank, I guess. We're going to find out soon in our Twitter poll and WXVU Instagram account. Lou Noguera, editor-in-chief of Ellipsis Magazine, will be joining us today. And in sports, we'll recap all the madness of March, not including Villanova basketball, of course. And the Morning Roar is also being broadcast live on WXVU's YouTube channel. Good morning, everybody. My name is Chris Kokinos.
I'm Talian Postian.
And I'm Nick Williams.
And today we're going to start with our Morning Roar news update. Tennessee just became the first state to protect musicians and other artists against AI. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee on Thursday signed off on legislation designed to protect songwriters, performers, and other music industry professionals against the potential dangers of artificial intelligence. The move makes Tennessee, long known as the birthplace of country music and the launchpad for musical legends, the first state in the U.S. to enact such measures. Supporters say the goal is to ensure that AI tools cannot replicate an artist's voice without their consent. The bill goes into effect July 1st. It is one of 3 states where name, photographs, and likeness are considered a property right rather than a right of publicity. According to the newly signed statute, dubbed the Ensuring Likeness, Voice, and Image Security Act, or Elvis Act, vocal likeness will now be added to that list. A Delaware County business recently sold a Pennsylvania lottery ticket that won $200,000. According to officials, Brewers Outlet at 535 Church Lane in Eden sold a jackpot-winning Pennsylvania lottery cash 5 with quick cash. The ticket on Monday matched all 5 balls drawn 5, 13, 14, 35, 42 to win $200,000 less withholding. Brewers Outlet earns a $500 bonus for selling the winning ticket. Winners can be identified only after prizes are claimed and tickets validated. A main cash 5 game prize must be claimed within 1 year of the drawing date. I like how that implies that no one's got it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little confused. Not only am I a little confused, I'm very confused. Like, if you won $200,000, go get your money.
I have heard, though, that like people will read up on this stuff, and apparently it's smarter to not get it like in person with your name. Sometimes people like create little fake companies to then like get it for them. Yeah, I've heard it's like a legal thing.
That's good to know. In case I ever win the lottery, I know now that
At Brewers Outlet.
At Brewers Outlet, I should not show up back to Brewers Outlet with, just me, myself, and I, name, everything. And I mean, but like, what's going to happen?
Do you understand what crime is?
Yeah, but like, it's $200,000 like in your bank account. Like, how are people going to get that?
You just become like a target.
I guess. Yeah, I guess so. That's
I wouldn't show back up to Brewers Outlet specifically because all they got was $500. And
I thought that was tough. I thought that was a brutal scene.
The person who sold that ticket, who was there 5 days a week, is kicking the ground. They're so mad.
They're not seeing that $500
they are
bonus
not.
at all. That's brutal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, moving on to our discussion topic of the day here, a lot to stomach. If you are a stomach sleeper, this is important. Experts are warning that those who sleep front side down are a lot more prone to a number of health issues. One of the biggest complaints of stomach sleepers is lower back pain, and Dr. Tony Nalda from the UK's Scoliosis Reduction Center warns that if you already suffer from neck or back problems, sleeping in this position is guaranteed to make them worse. Stomach sleeping can also make it more difficult to breathe deeply because the position compresses your diaphragm. He also warns it can put stress on your heart through the pressure on your chest, which makes it harder for blood to circulate, among other things. So, Nick, we're going to start with you. Like, are you worried? Is this something that you do?
So I would like to say I feel targeted because I remember earlier this year we took a poll about how we all sleep.
Yeah,
right?
we've
Yeah.
talked about this before.
And
I don't remember it all.
yeah, no, and
I'll take
I was
your word
the
for it.
only one who slept on his stomach. And,
Well, have you improved since then?
I sleep on my stomach at home. I should have said. Here I sleep on my right side because I just have to with my twin XL.
Uh-huh.
It's not really comfortable just to sleep on my stomach here at Villanova with a small bed. But at home, no, I sleep on my stomach. I sleep like a baby. And that's the only really way I sleep the best.
Yeah, see, like when we talked about this in the past, I was not a stomach sleeper, but over the last few months, I've tried it out, and
Mhm.
it is so comfy.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
bro.
like, if it's so bad for you, why did they make it outrageously comfy?
I feel like it is kind of like it's a little bit of a, excuse the pun, but a sleeper agent. I
Uh-huh.
think
Oh no, yeah, of course, of course.
I think sleeping on your stomach for the first like 5-10 minutes is amazing. I agree. But I do think I have never woken up from sleeping on my stomach
that's so
without
true.
feeling like I'm drowning.
Yeah.
Like it's not an efficient way to get air into my
That's
body.
correct.
And as such, I try and avoid it.
Yeah, I do wake up in pain a lot,
Yes.
but like going to bed doesn't feel better than
I
that.
feel like that's why Dr. Tony Nalda from the Scoliosis Reduction Center that might be what he's pointing out.
Yeah, it's a tough. I wish this was one of those studies that we could all critique and be like, this
Yeah.
isn't real. But
But I will say, if he's from the Scoliosis Reduction Center, I will critique the study. If none of us are currently suffering from scoliosis, I don't think it's a condition you can like acquire. So we might be good.
you can't acquire
I
scoliosis.
don't think so. I might be very wrong.
I don't know,
all,
man.
all I know is like when I was younger, I would go to like the school nurse with everybody else in my class in like
Yeah.
3rd grade, and they were like, "Okay, let's test for scoliosis." But no one did that when I was 16. So I think it was like either you have it as a kid and you like have to fix it, or it doesn't happen. I'm not saying you can't have back problems as an adult, but I don't know.
As somebody who doesn't have scoliosis, I also don't know.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm not exactly the sort. Nick, do you have?
No, I
Scoliosis.
Do
don't.
you have scoliosis?
Are you with scoliosis?
No, but like the way I sit in chairs, you think I do.
Okay.
honestly.
Okay.
So maybe you should be tested.
I probably should be tested.
Somebody needs to run. What was the test? Let's like run a finger down your back.
It is. It's very strange. I didn't enjoy it at all.
No way. That's scientific.
I don't
No
think
way they
so.
figure out anything through
It
doing
sounds
that.
like a Civil War era, like
Yeah.
bloodletting type
Mhm.
disease.
Like, let's see if your back is okay. Runs finger, and you're good.
It's like a little bit of a witchery. I shall let me trace my finger down your back.
What
You're
else?
fine. You're cured.
What else am I supposed to use? Use like a meter stick for the science lab or something like
Yeah.
that?
Well, I guess don't sleep on your stomach. It's gonna make a lot of problems worse. But Nick, let's go to you with our birthdays coming up this weekend.
Can't wait to mispronounce all of these names. All right, happy birthday to Reese Witherspoon, turning 48 today, and Constance Wu turning 42. On Saturday, we have Randall Park turning 50, and Reggie Watts turning 52. And on Sunday, we have fashion designer Tommy Hilfiger turning 73, and Jim Parsons from The Big Bang Theory turning 51. And this is the one I'm going to mess up. Don't help me out here. Jessica Chastain.
Chastain.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Turning 47.
And again, we have this amazing. Well, on our script, we have always like 1 or 2 people who have their occupation in parentheses, and it's never the person we need it for.
Yeah.
Today, we were told that Jim Parsons was from The Big Bang Theory, but neglect to tell me, everyone, cue for laughter, I have no idea who Reggie Watts is, and I'm not going to
I
know.
also don't know who Reggie
Oh.
Watts is.
Oh,
Nick, do you want to tell us who Reggie Watts is?
As a musician, I am greatly pained by this. He's one of the greatest drummers of all time.
I thought he was a basketball player.
That's a good guess.
Thank you.
Maybe.
No. Ah!
But also, fashion designer Tommy Hilfiger, like we knew this.
That's the one where it's like his name is the clothes.
Yeah, like and we all knew that one.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised you struggled with the easiest name on the list.
Yes.
I'd say Reggie Watts is a pretty well-known name.
All right, like one of the easier names on the list, Jessica Chastain. Like that one's spelled exactly.
Listen,
That one's like rocking exactly how it's spelled.
that's true, but like, I'm looking at it like, it's like looking at what the house Worcester is spelled, right? If-
I do
I
not
know-
think Chastain
Yes,
is
no,
akin
dude.
to
No.
Worcester at all.
Way. No way. Worcester spelled
Spell
Worcester.
Worcestershire sauce right now.
It's spelled Worcester.
That's what I
Pass.
thought. Okay. What's going on with WXVU? Our show of the week is Scoop and Score, hosted by the trio of Clayton Perona, Matt Topolowski, and Jason Verville. On Scoop and Score, Clayton, Matt, and Jason deliver and discuss their most outspoken takes across the world of sports. With unique topics, segments, and discussions from three diehard sports fans, there's something new every week. Listen every Monday at 5:30 p.m. right here on WXVU for their takes on basketball player Reggie Watts.
Awesome. Thank you, Talene. And you're listening to WXVU's The Morning Roar. We're going to be taking a quick break, so stay tuned for more after this.
Hey everyone, I'm Gabrielle Raful, the news director at WXVU, and you're listening to V89.1 The Roar.
Villanova Radio is where I started. I'm Tom Kelly, Villanova Business 1979. I stepped into the radio station, WKVU at the time, and found my career. After 4 years on air and hosting a record-breaking 5-day radio marathon, I graduated into commercial radio, then a national radio consultancy. Over the next 34 years, I owned a music research company, a Philadelphia radio station, and an internet radio platform. Now, I run a family nonprofit, the Kelly Center for Music, Arts, and Community. It all started here. Thank you, Villanova Radio. V89.1 The Roar.
Have a voice for radio? Need to get your hands on audio video gear? Does journalism or writing interest you? How about photography and capturing memories? Villanova's media organizations are open to all majors and include WXVU 89.1, VTV, Tech Crew, the Villanovan, and the Bel Air Yearbook. Come hang out with an awesome group of creative students and find your home in Villanova's media programs. Stop by Doherty 102 to learn more. Brought to you by the Office of Student Involvement, Student Media Programs.
And we're back with the Morning Roar right here on Villanova's V89.1 The Roar. And now it's time for our 3-day weather forecast for the main line. Sorry about that. Today is starting off with good old sunshine. Expect sunny conditions and a high of 49 degrees. Cloudy skies with periods of rain after midnight tonight, though, a low of 40 degrees. You can still expect some sunny conditions on Saturday with intervals of clouds and sunshine and a high of 52 degrees and a low of 30, as Saturday night offers mostly clear skies. And Sunday isn't any different with sunny conditions in the day and a few clouds overnight. It's a high of 55 and a low of 34. The current temperature outside our Doherty Hall studios on the campus of Villanova University is 27 degrees. Now let's go to Talene with our Morning Roar news update.
To continue our Morning Roar news update, we have a person who was bitten by a fox that appeared to be sick Monday in Radnor Township, officials said. We have a lot of strange animal-related news. According to authorities, the person was walking their dog on the 400 block of West Wayne Avenue when they were bitten by the fox. The person reported the fox appeared to be sick. Authorities were not able to find the fox to conduct testing for illnesses. The person bitten was taken to a hospital for treatment. Radnor officials are urging those in the area to be aware of their surroundings and report any sightings of the potentially sick animal to police by dialing 911. Just a little interlude here. The way that this is stated is like a little fairy tale.
Once upon a time.
Yeah, I'm not. They were bitten by the fox, but there's no like lead up to like how they managed to like, were they attacked? Was it a like approaching the sick fox type situation? And then just the fox appeared to be sick. I would like more details. Did it have rabies? Was it limping?
It sounds like a hit and run. Like the fox ran up, bit, and ran away.
Yeah, but
Which
it's not
doesn't make
phrased
sense.
that way. It like
Yeah.
feels like someone is covering something up, and I want to know what it is.
Yeah. Like this
So
lady was going through the woods and like found this fox.
that's what I'm saying. It's like too peaceful for someone to be like a really random victim. I think that this person was fox hunting, and the fox simply got him first.
Even while walking the dog? I feel like that's an interesting excursion to go on while walking the dog.
That is a very important clue here. I wonder if is the dog like tiny, like what maybe it was like a
Yeah,
chihuahua.
maybe the dog attracted the fox.
Then why wasn't the dog hit? Why was the bigger thing attacked? Because it's either a tiny dog and the dog didn't do anything and it wasn't attacked, or it's a bigger dog and it should have attacked the fox to protect the person. Something's not adding up. Something's
We need more
mysterious.
info. We need more info.
Exactly.
The tinfoil hats are coming out.
Mhm. An upstate New York man was forced to say "see you later, alligator" to his unusual pet after authorities seized the 11-foot, 750-pound gator from his Hamburg, New York home. Police said the owner of the house had built an addition to his house and installed an in-ground swimming pool for his roughly 30-year-old gator, and allegedly allowed members of the public to get into the water to pet the unsecured alligator, including children. The 610, the owner's license to keep the alligator expired in 2021, and cops took action after learning the extent at which the owner was seriously endangering the public, according to a statement. The gator, named Albert, was now being cared for by a licensed caretaker and refuses to comment.
I love that we know the name. The gator is Albert.
Yeah, I just wonder what it takes to get a license to own an alligator in New York State.
There's probably
It's got to be a lot. It's got to be so much. It's New York.
Yeah, but I just wonder, like Nick was saying, I wonder if there's like a test.
Like, what are they going to test you on?
Gator handling abilities.
Maybe. But, like, I think my bigger problem is, why, as a child, are you getting into a pool with an alligator? I don't think, as a kid, you could have paid me enough money to ever do that.
I disagree. I think I would have watched a couple of episodes on like PBS Kids of like the Krat brothers, a couple like zoo themed episodes, and would have been like, I'm ready to go. Like,
There's no way. There's no way.
Let me
That's
in the
crazy.
pool with the gator.
That's crazy.
And then the crazy old man who lived down the street would have cheered me on, and I would
Yeah.
have made a memory for a lifetime.
True.
In fact, children's lives are being less enriched because the gator is locked
It's
up.
true. It does not say that anybody was
Has gotten
harmed by
hurt.
the alligator,
Yeah.
which is a little curious to me. Like, well,
Yeah. I
how
will
did that
say
happen?
Another New York resident, as in my mother, has commented, which is don't waste an indoor pool on an alligator, which is another great addition to this
True.
commentary.
True. New York real estate, very expensive. Why are you going to
Exactly.
waste that money on an alligator?
There's the Bronx Zoo. Just go visit.
Well, it doesn't sound like it was if this was New York City, that'd be crazy.
That'd be extra amazing.
That'd be wild. You're just like walking down the street one day and some dude's walking his alligator.
It
Take
would
home.
be more normal.
Honestly,
It would be more normal.
Absolutely.
Maybe this guy's got to move to Brooklyn. he'll be welcomed.
Yeah, that's like the little bougie thing that he would
Mhm.
be doing. Little hipster thing, yeah. But coming up here, Easter is coming up in a couple weeks. And I'm wondering if anyone has any Easter traditions. And when you found out the Easter bunny isn't real, that's gonna be embarrassing for me. Nick.
So my family used to do a thing where we went to this schmancy fancy hotel about 20 minutes from our house and get Easter brunch every year. We have since stopped that tradition because it's too expensive and we can do the same thing at home. But other than that, not really anything. We go to mass, Easter Vigil, and that's really it. But I remember very distinctly, I had 1 year where I got an Easter basket. When I was a small child, I 1 year I knew, and my mom hid the basket in the downstairs bathroom of all places. There was cotton candy, there was Easter eggs, and that was the whole thing. The next year, my mom just sat me down, was like, "Look, Easter bunny's just not real."
Just like, we're not doing this anymore. Yeah, it's tough. Like my family never really like celebrates Easter. Like we just like take trips.
Yeah.
So it's like a pretty normal
That's
thing.
fun.
Yeah, no, it's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like for me at least, Easter is a tripless weekend because we do have to go to church, and then it is also one of those like family holidays. So it's like somebody offers up their house and says, please come over. Please don't come over. And then everyone comes over and we're all really happy to see each other and eat their food.
For like the first hour.
Yes. Well, the food happens for many hours. That's
Oh,
how
no,
we're
of course.
placated.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
Mhm.
That's
So
how everyone's kept
did
happy.
you find out that the Easter Bunny isn't real?
Oh, like 6th grade. It was way too late.
Okay. What was
Like,
the story there?
Well, it was more, I mean, like, there might be like people listening. So like I don't know if I want to get into it like too much. I don't want to spoil any fun, but let's just say like I believed everything was real
Okay.
to a very late age.
Mhm. When you say everything, can you list some other things?
I don't want to list anything in case like a kid is listening, you know.
Well, if they truly believe, you should not affect them.
Okay.
That's how belief works.
I mean, I think the obvious one, you know, in the winter time is what I believe.
Okay.
And I found out that
That's
one.
what I was
And
assuming.
then everything else clicked. I'm like, wait a second.
What I'm just wondering actually what else, like besides the winter one.
I'm like, you know, the tooth fairy.
Okay.
Like you know,
I extorted my tooth fairy.
I feel like that's the normal thing to do. Like,
That is
what did you
true.
do?
Well, I kept, of course, the money, but then also my teeth.
How did you pull that one off?
I asked very nicely in a note every year.
Every time you lost a tooth, you're like, gotta write a note.
Oh, I
I'm not
did.
letting this person
Oh, I
steal
did.
my teeth.
I would say, here is my tooth for proof. But if you wouldn't mind leaving me the money and my tooth, I will take great care of it.
So this person was just donating money to you.
Yes.
They weren't making money with the
Mhm.
teeth. Like that's
No.
the whole business model.
It is the business model, and I shorted it.
Yeah. It's messed up. You should go to VSB. Like they would have admitted you immediately upon hearing that story. Without a doubt. But moving on to our morning roar mind bender. All right. Updated standings, you know, I feel like Mike has more than 6 points.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
I think there's a chance he does because I feel like he's had 6 points for the last 2 weeks and has gotten it the last 2 weeks. But
He's the only one here the last 2 weeks.
that is correct. That's absolutely, without a doubt, correct.
That doesn't, well, does it count as forfeit?
No. Mike has 6. Nick, you've got 3. Becky, bless up. She's got 2. Talene has 3. Are you guys ready for the mind bender?
As I'll ever be.
All right. If I am holding a bee, what do I have in my eye?
Beauty.
How did you? I'm a little confused about this. Correct.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. That's so good.
Finally.
That's so good. I think that's a good mind bender
Yeah.
that we've had because everyone always seems to have issues
Nick
with
doesn't
it.
think so. He
That-
lied.
No,
Hey.
that's so clever.
No, I'm not even mad that I lost. I just feel like brain cells have been lost.
See, like I was sitting here and I'm
Clearly,
like,
'cause you
beauty.
lost.
Like
Oh,
bee is not in the
okay.
word beauty. I was confused by that, but yeah, beauty
It's
is
the
in the.
phrase.
It's the beholder.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well,
Thank you.
yeah, you've moved up in the world. You're only 2 points behind Mike. If our scoreboard is updated, if we're not counting the 2 points that he got while nobody else was here. But yeah,
Well, one of
congrats-
those weekends we were representing the station. So I think that doesn't count. I might be more willing to give him one of them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, are you saying when you guys went to IBS?
Yes.
Okay. So you're saying because you were out on professional station
Exactly.
business that shouldn't count?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I'm willing to give him 1 point.
Mhm. What
I
do you
think that's
Nick?
fair.
Yes, I was also there.
Yes. Agreed. Yep. Well, this is the Morning Roar on WXVU. We're going to be taking a quick break, so stay tuned for more after this.
I'm Ellie Hart, the host of Matchbox Melodies, and you're listening to V89.1 The Roar.
Did you know? According to Thrive 365, 1 in 2 sexually active people will contract an STI by 25.
Did you know?
That 20 million new STIs occur each year. Did you know? Half of these are among people ages 15 to 24. Did you know? Many STIs have no symptoms at all, and the only way to know if you have an STI is to get tested.
Did you know?
That confidential testing for sexually transmitted infections, including HIV, is available to students at the Villanova Student Health Center. Call 610-519-4070. That's 610-519-4070. Or email studenthealthcenter@villanova.edu. Again, that's studenthealthcenter@villanova.edu. If your results come back positive, don't be afraid. Take action. Management and treatment of STIs can keep everyone safe. Knowing your status can bring you peace of mind, promote healthy relationships, as well as mental and emotional health. Stay in the know with Nova nurses. This message was brought to you by senior nursing students in the health promotion course of the Fitzpatrick College of Nursing, the Office of Health Promotion, and V89.1 WXVU Villanova Radio.
WXVU is your home for Villanova sports. Listen for play-by-play of every Villanova Wildcats home football game, led by our sports director, David Shapansky. And we'll have broadcast coverage of Villanova men's basketball and Villanova women's basketball. Count on V89.1 The Roar for all of your Villanova sports coverage.
And welcome back to the Morning Roar right here on Villanova's V89.1 The Roar. And it is our pleasure to have in studio with us Luna Guerres, and she is pursuing an environmental sciences degree here at Villanova while also serving as the editor-in-chief of Ellipsis Magazine. Lou, thank you for spending some time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So, first of all, just tell us more about yourself.
Okay, well, I, as you said, am an environmental science major. I'm a senior. I also have minors in Spanish, sustainability, and psychology. So I try to be as interdisciplinary as possible, which is why I ended up joining Ellipsis in the first place. I feel like we have a lot of science majors that don't have a different outlet for their creativity. So that's why I joined in the first place, to give myself an outlet for the writing that I love to do. And that's really how I spend my free time, is by writing and doing art.
So what is Ellipsis Magazine, and who does it cater to?
So Ellipsis Magazine is an annual publication that includes art and writing from the entire Villanova community. So that includes students, staff, and faculty. We cater to the entire population. Anybody who does anything to express themselves that might not be fitting into the norm of what we usually perceive as art. Our sort of mission is to expand Villanova's perception of what art can be. We take the normal paintings, writing, poems, and then we take things like text message screenshots. So it's really catering towards the people who maybe aren't heard normally in the art community. And we publish annually in May, and we collect submissions throughout the entire year. So anybody from any walk of life can submit pretty much anything that can be displayed on a piece of paper.
Thank you.
That's really cool. So tell me, how did the magazine come about? How was it founded?
So we're funded through OSI. The founding was, I believe, in somewhere around 2017. It used to be called Arthology, and it was a much smaller operation. I have here in front of me the magazines from the most recent 2 years, but it used to be a super thin little pamphlet, printer paper stapled together, super DIY style. And we've been growing a lot in the past few years. I believe it came about similarly because a science major, our former president, Tia Parisi, decided that she wanted to have sort of an outlet, create a magazine that kind of collected art from the entire Villanova community and gave, as I said, every major a creative outlet. And so we were called Arthology for a while. And then in 2020, when Tallene and I both joined, we changed our name to Ellipsis. And that's when the real expansion started happening.
Just out of curiosity, why Ellipsis?
The name?
Yeah.
You're asking the wrong person,
Oh,
unfortunately.
okay. Got it. Cool. So, big picture here. Where do you see yourself and the magazine in the long run?
So, one of my main goals as the editor-in-chief, which is a job that I took last year, so my junior year, was to expand the magazine and give it a firmer organizational structure that we could leave the future staff members with. I felt like starting as Arthology, as a very, very small publication, we didn't have as much infrastructure as I wanted us to. We didn't have as much organization. And I know our freshman year, our sophomore year, it felt very heavily weighted on the leadership because there would only be 2 positions. And then our the president before me, Sylvia Allen, started to sort of expand and added positions. And then we've been doing the same for the past 2 years, just adding positions, adding people who are being trained to take over rather than just kind of being thrust into the role and fed to the wolves. So really my goal has been to add a level of organization to the staff and the board that would leave the future in good hands. So I hope to see us continue to expand. I hope to see us raise some awareness. I think we're still a very small club, and I think not everybody knows who we are. Not everybody knows what kind of stuff belongs in the magazine, and that probably their stuff belongs in the magazine. So my hope for the next few years is that we can continue to sort of raise that awareness and that more people know about Ellipsis, know to submit to Ellipsis, know to read Ellipsis. So that's really what I've been trying to set up for the future.
Awesome.
What do you enjoy most about the work that you do for Ellipsis?
Honestly, I think definitely part of it is an escape for me. I always loved writing. I always loved art. And then I came here neuroscience pre-med before I switched to environmental science, and I just had no creative outlet. Obviously, Villanova has the fine arts requirement, but there's only one. I'm not taking mine until right now. So I think having the creative outlet, being able to work with people that I wouldn't have otherwise worked with, and I think just being able to see what people produce at this school is actually amazing. Some of the things that we see come in are absolutely breathtaking and super, super profound and meaningful. And some are just stupid funny and so cool to see. And I think people don't see Villanova as a primarily artistic school, which makes sense based on what our reputation is. But I think seeing what people have created is just absolutely amazing and leaves me speechless every time. I think it's awesome to see everything come together.
Cool. So then how do you choose the topics you write about in each publication?
So we typically start just opening submissions, regardless of what our theme ends up being and what our sort of like sub themes or chapters end up being. We will accept anything. So typically we accept submissions for like a few weeks to a month, and then we come together as a staff. We host a BYOT, or bring your own theme, meeting, and that's when everybody on the staff is welcome to bring a theme that they'd be interested in us seeing. And it's sort of used as, the themes are sort of used as a backdrop. So maybe to give a little bit of context to the readers, inspire people to create largely. We accept things still that are outside of the theme, but I think the theme helps guide a lot of people when they are writing stuff specifically for Ellipsis. They have sort of a subject matter to go off of. So then we vote on the theme as a staff, and the chapters just sort of fall into place based on what people send us.
So this is a double part question here. Do you have a favorite theme that you guys have done? And do you have a favorite like work that has ended up in Ellipsis?
Oh man, this is a tough question. I think my favorite theme might have been last year's, which was Everything and Nothing. It was sort of like a culmination of multiple themes, and I think the sub chapters really like brought it all together. So I think they gave a lot of space for people to write things that didn't necessarily fit in with Mischief, which was our previous theme, or Chaos, which was the one before that. I think this was a theme where nobody felt restricted to creating something. I don't know about a favorite piece. Actually, my favorite piece was in Chaos. And it was the example that I always use for when I say we accept anything that can go on a piece of paper. And it is a photocopy of a receipt from a toll booth at the New Jersey Turnpike. And on the back, it says OnlyFans. And there's no context. There's no context to that, but it's in the magazine.
Was it from someone's mom?
It was from someone's mom.
That's even better.
And I think what had happened was that this person's mom heard somebody on the radio say OnlyFans, and
just taking
she was
note.
like, what's that? Let me ask my kid about it later, which I imagine must have been a fun conversation.
That's an awful conversation.
Oh yeah. I think that's my favorite piece.
The storytelling in that one receipt is the stuff that we can do.
Yeah.
In Ellipsis.
I think a close second for me is called Peepocalypse, and it is a diorama of a bunch of peeps standing in line for the COVID vaccine, I guess. Yeah, Peapocalypse, A New Hope. And this was submitted to us by a professor, which I think is outstanding.
In the law school, right?
In the law school.
Mhm.
And just really on the nose
Yeah.
for the current times. Definitely one of my favorites. I really like when we get professor submissions because it's like, oh, you're not all serious. You know?
Yeah.
What is there a deadline that people could be looking out for if they want to submit to Ellipsis right now?
There is, as a matter of fact. The deadline for submissions currently is March 31st. So that is in, what's today, the 22nd? That's in 9 days. If you're listening, submit something to Ellipsis because I guarantee it belongs in the magazine. If you can display it on a piece of paper, it should go in the magazine. So if you're listening and you'd like to submit something, you can email your submissions to ellipsis@villanova.edu. And you totally should because it's super cool to see your piece get in a magazine and be all like polished and pretty.
And if people wanted to get involved with Ellipsis besides just submitting a work, is there any other way they could get involved?
Absolutely, Tallene.
Oh my God.
No way.
As you know. So we have an Instagram. Our Instagram is VU Ellipsis. If you look it up, there's a whole link tree in the bio. There is a link there to join our staff group me. Being on the staff, I think, is like one of my highlights is just like going to meetings. It's so unserious. And we just hang out and we see writing, we see art, and it's super cool. So yeah, definitely join the staff. It's also a super low commitment way to get involved in something that's super cool. So
Awesome. Well, Lou, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
thank you for having me.
And make sure, if you're listening, to go submit to Ellipsis in just a few days. Now you're listening to the Morning Roar right here on WXVU 89.1 FM. We're going to be taking a quick break, so stay tuned for more after this.
Hey, I'm Avery Stout. I'm the Philadelphia Music Coordinator for WXVU, and you're listening to 89.1 The Roar.
DegreeWorks is Villanova's new online degree auditing tool. It is an easy-to-use and comprehensive graduation prep tool that will help students and advisors track academic progress toward completion of degree requirements. DegreeWorks can allow you to see real-time updates to the entire course catalog during registration, see easy-to-view graphics with credits earned and credits remaining, and see suggestions for majors or minors based on completed coursework. DegreeWorks can be accessed through MyNova. Search for DegreeWorks and log in with your Villanova username and password. To learn more, visit villanova.edu/DegreeWorks.
Hi, everyone. This is Kaylee Brendel, and you can hear my music only here on Villanova's V89.1 The Roar.
Hours turn to minutes. I get so swept up in it.
Ugh. I'm setting another timer for 30 minutes. Ugh, I'm so tired. What time is it? Ah, I have to go to class.
Have you ever woken up from a nap like this? Here's some advice, backed by research, to take naps that help you wake up refreshed and sleep at night without trouble. Number 1, keep naps short. Naps should only be 15 to 30 minutes long. Number 2, optimal napping time is between 1 and 4 p.m., but find a time that works for you. Number 3, nap in a quiet, dark, and cool environment without distractions. That means no phones.
Really? No phones?
Correct, no phones. Now you can feel more rested during those tough work weeks.
Happy catnapping, Wildcats. And remember, don't sleep on sleep.
This PSA was brought to you by senior nursing students in the Fitzpatrick College of Nursing, the Office of Health Promotion, and WXVU Villanova Radio.
And we are back with the Morning Roar right here on Villanova's V89.1 The Roar. All right, well, it's time to go into our sports update here. And the women's basketball team moves on in the WBIT tournament after defeating VCU last night. WXVU will have complete coverage of their second round game on Sunday. Time and opponent to be figured out at some point. I do not know. Men's team, on the other hand, bowed out in the first round. That sounds like they willingly bowed out. No, they lost. We lost in the first round of the fake tournament to VCU. And it is also in the news that Kyle Neptune will officially be coming back for his third season as Villanova basketball head coach.
I am out for blood.
He's out for blood, or you're out? I think
I'm
the
out for
whole
blood.
Villanova student
I think
community
if
is
he
out for
was
blood.
out for blood, people would be happier.
Yeah, like nobody's happy with this hire.
I had to see a lot of like really emotional Instagram stories
yeah.
this week, and I've seen these same people post about like the death of their grandparents. I
Mhm.
hate to tell your family, but you care more about the NIT tournament.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of very impassioned, especially when Kyle Neptune got signed like last night.
Mhm.
There was some nasty posts going around.
Yeah.
I was kind of impressed with how quickly people were getting at it on that one. But any opinions on how Villanova basketball did this season, besides, the obvious that it was bad? I mean, Tully, you used to have a basketball show.
Used to is the operative word. I took time out of my life to learn about basketball, and I learned that I don't want to learn any more about it.
I think we should have pivoted that show to like a different sport then.
I should have. I know.
See, let's figure out hockey this season.
Yeah.
Like that could have been entertaining, yeah. But what are you gonna do, Nick?
So, having been a band member and having to support this men's team the entire season,
How was that?
game in, game out, going to Madison Square Garden, having to see us almost lose to DePaul. We should not have won that game. We should have lost.
And then
like we were
almost
supposed to.
beat Marquette.
And almost beat we should have won that game. That is for sure. With Tyler Kolek out, but couldn't do it. And then when we played in NIT, and I think bowed out is the proper term. Like being at that game, watching how they played in the second half, none of the players wanted to be there. Eric Dixon didn't want to be there. Chris Arch didn't want to be there.
It's the NIT. It's the joke of
Can you
college
explain
basketball.
NIT? I don't know what it is.
It's the National Invitational Tournament. So if you're good, you make March Madness. You make the NCAA tournament. For the people who don't make that, they get invited to play in
the
this
kiddie
like
round.
it's the kiddie tournament. And like a lot of the good teams who end up not making March Madness decline their invitation. Like St. John's declined their invitation to the NIT.
Oh, I like that there's like a history of like, I shan't go.
No, yeah. Like a lot of the good teams are like, I'm too good to play in this awful tournament.
So do they just like do nothing?
Yes.
That's lazy.
It's lazy.
I'm
but
actually
it's-
happy that we did it. I mean, it's a little bit less egotistical.
But it's embarrassing.
It is
we lost in
embarrassing.
the first round of the bad tournament for the second year in a row.
Yeah, but I also have to say, Nick, I feel like the way that you're talking about it is a bit like symptomatic of people's like bad opinions about the team right now. How you're like, oh, we shouldn't have won that game. Like, but then the next one you were like, and it was pathetic that we lost to this other one. There's no winning with you.
This is true. This is true. Brutal commentary. Whoa. Response, Nick.
Okay, so I get it. I get what you're saying, but I feel like DePaul deserved to win that game. Hear me out on this one, because that game until the last 5 minutes of the DePaul game in the Big East tournament, we did not play like the Villanova basketball we know as students.
But even the simple fact that we didn't play up to our standards and we still beat them, like DePaul was an awful, like one of the worst teams. What do they have? Like 3 wins on the year?
Yeah, exactly.
They don't deserve to win anything.
But yet they came that close
They
to
came
our
close.
team.
They had a
our
good
team.
game. They had a good game.
It's these attitudes of stasis and lack of growth that you see in teams that lead to a fan base such as this. And the lack of support for these teams is honestly dishonorable.
It's appalling, really.
It's appalling. Yes. It is.
But yeah, I'm just not happy with Kyle Neptune coming back. I was really hoping that Jay Wright was going to make some comments about it, because he was doing like all of the a lot of the commentating for March Madness last night, And the news came out while like him and his panel were talking on screen. I'm like, oh, like they got to ask him about it. Like, I want to see his opinion. Like, I want to know what he's thinking about this decision. Nothing.
He's blacklisted his former home.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, don't ask me about that.
What? Villanova? Villanova who?
Who?
Villanova did catch a stray during the March Madness broadcast last night. I think it was like Texas Tech or something. They're like, the last time this team won a game was against Villanova. And I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Like, that's brutal. Don't be putting us on blast like that.
I also watched an interview with Charles Barkley where they were like, I just like lightning round asking him like former head coaches, like where had they played? And the only one he messed up was Jay Wright.
I saw this video while I was scrolling Instagram this morning.
Yes. And he was like, he played?
I didn't know he played.
I didn't know he played either, but I feel like Charles Barkley should know. I don't need to know that.
True. It
Yeah.
was like Bucknell, right? Where was it?
I think it was Bucknell.
Yeah, because he guessed Hofstra. And I'm like, that's a good guess. I
Yeah.
feel like I would have guessed Hofstra if I
Maybe
had to.
that's why Jay Wright didn't say anything last night. He heard Barkley be very rude to his
Yeah, he was
past
like, this
career.
guy can play basketball. I don't know. Every time I saw Jay Wright, I'm like, this guy.
I never thought he played.
No.
I never thought he played.
No. Like, did you know that he played?
I feel like I did, but it's just like it's very subconscious.
Yeah. Like maybe one time freshman year, someone's like, oh, he played for Bucknell. And like, I forgot about it. But
Probably during orientation, yeah.
yeah, it was probably something like
Maybe
that.
that's a nice thing, though. His coaching career can overshadow his collegiate one.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely,
There you go.
without a doubt, did.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So now that it's March Madness, did you guys make brackets?
We know the answer to this. No.
No. Nick?
I'm not a
Yes.
gambling man. I will say that.
It's not gambling. It's free. If you have a perfect bracket, what Warren Buffett will give you like a lot of money.
Why will Warren Buffett give me a lot of
Because
money?
nobody has ever had a perfect bracket. So his bet is like,
Oh.
if you get a perfect bracket, like you'll get a few million. It was some like few million, I think.
The old man's getting bored.
I would get bored. All the money in the world. I'm like, I want to see what I can make people do.
Let's see what these college students can whip up for me.
I want to see what these kids can cook. All right. All right. So who's your winner, Nick?
I hate to say it.
Did they lose already?
No,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's not a good pick.
Who is it?
Purdue.
I picked Purdue.
Really?
I think it's a good pick.
Huh.
100% of teams who have lost in the first round, who are a 1 seed who lost in the first round the year before, win the championship the next year.
100%.
100%. 100%.
What's your
I
source,
am not
Wikipedia?
making. No, they said it on the broadcast yesterday. This was, of course, after I picked Purdue. But when I heard that, I was like, oh, come on, show me the money. Like, this is going to be such a win. So statistically,
That's
I already
a crazy
won.
statistic.
Statistically, we already won here. So it's in the bag. That was your bracket busted, I'm assuming.
I had was it Kentucky or Kansas? I can't remember. Who lost last night?
Kentucky.
Kentucky. I had them Final Four.
Against Oakland. Oh, it was like, see, you hear the school named Oakland, and you're like, oh, that's in California. Central Michigan.
What?
This is
random
like-
school in Central Michigan that just cooked Kentucky last night.
This is like how all of the how every state in the U.S. has a place called Springfield. Like I feel like
Mhm.
that's illegal. That we
Yeah.
have to stop doing that.
Yeah,
Things
like
need to be more
Illinois.
original.
Illinois should be the only one who gets a Springfield. since it's
Exactly.
their state capital.
Exactly.
Everyone else is just copying them.
hmm
Yeah.
The
But-
Oakland should sue.
But I was sitting there, I'm like, Oakland, like that's got to be California. Like, why are they playing Kentucky? Like, this doesn't seem right. And then, nope, just random school, Central Michigan.
Imagine if it was like a fluke. If it was like they played the whole game, it was California, and then afterwards they were like, "That wasn't supposed to happen." Sorry.
So we scheduled the wrong team over here, guys. So yeah, we're gonna set you guys back out to California, and we're gonna play these games again. Sorry
Restart,
about
refresh. Don't worry about it.
that. Little mistake on our part. NCAA, we make mistakes. We're human too.
We're like NIT.
Yeah, the NIT is a mistake just in and of itself. But Talene, let's go to you with our music news.
In huge news, Ariana Grande's 98-year-old grandmother, Marjorie Grande, has made history, with Grande's Ordinary Things debuting at 55 on the Billboard Hot 100. Nona, as she is called, is the oldest person ever to have appeared in the Hot 100 since its 1958 origin. Granny is billed as a featured artist on the track, and all I know is that Dolly Parton get to writing. Like, get to writing because this cannot continue.
Well, did you hear Dolly Parton's new collaboration with Pitbull?
Yes, I did.
So good.
It was so
It
good.
was so Nick, did you hear this song?
No.
It was so good.
Everybody stream Dolly Parton and Pitbull's song, which is a remix of her, I think it's her 9 to 5
Yeah.
with new verses from Pitbull. And when I tell you, it's two of the greatest lyricists of our individual generations coming together on a collaboration, I am not being hyperbolic.
There's a point in the song where like Dolly Parton breaks it down.
She does.
And I go crazy. I'm like, this is amazing. This is like everything
She
I've ever
attempts
needed.
to rap.
Yeah. And attempts.
And it works.
No, she does rap.
Thank you.
She does.
Thank you for
and
correcting
she kills
me.
it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And we have Taylor Swift. Fans are buzzing about a possible collab between her and Beyonce, whose styles would go great together. ? In an Instagram post this week, Bey said, I have a few surprises on the album and I have collaborated with some brilliant artists who I deeply respect. Of course, many people immediately wondered if Swift would be one of the artists, given that she began in country music before pivoting to pop. You know what? That is kind of a logical explanation because Beyonce's next album is going to be country.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that would kind of be a regression for Taylor Swift, who hasn't really done country in many years. So that would be pretty interesting.
Well, when she releases debut Taylor's version.
That's true.
Like she could be working on, you know, the Taylor's version of that. And then be like, oh, like I'm in the country mood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go hang out with Beyonce,
Mhm.
help her out with her country album, and then boom, another collab of the century.
Well, we will see.
Yeah.
The Brothers Osborne. Does this include Ozzy Osbourne, or am I out of touch? I don't know.
think that's a little out of touch of you, but it was a good guess.
Do you know who the Brothers Osborne are?
I don't, but I'm like 99% sure that Ozzy Osbourne is not part of it.
Okay, I'm just checking. They'll drop their new Break Mine EP today, but they've already given fans a preview of the title cut. The brothers wrote on Twitter, the mid-tempo love song. We're very proud of this project and couldn't be more excited for y'all to finally hear it. Let's go.
I like how you saw X in the script and you're like, no, Twitter.
I'm just doing service for the people. No one likes saying that word, and it doesn't make sense.
See, I've kind of moved off of like the whole X Twitter thing. Like I'm just kind of used to it now, but I also don't use it. So
I don't use it either. I feel like Twitter just, it makes more sense.
well, it makes a lot more sense. But at this point, it's just like, whatever.
I feel it's kind of like the renaming of Sear a little bit.
Oh, what is it called?
Drozdick Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
to be a student when that hall opens,
I'll have to live with it
it's
for 2
going
years.
to be amazing.
You know what? It is, that's a great analogy because it is a worse name on something that already worked.
But see, the freshmen aren't going to call it Sear. They're going to call it
Drozdick.
No, they have another. They're going to have another nickname for it that I'm not gonna, advertise. I don't want to give them the idea. They're all
Yeah.
very smart individuals
Let
here at
them come up with
Villanova.
it
They're
on-
going to figure it out themselves. I guarantee it. But
I feel like this is on the part of the donor. Bless their hearts. They had to either come up with a name change or suggest a new name before they donated
Mhm.
their millions. Because listen, you can donate millions, but still be a bit of a dumb person for letting your. I'm sorry. You went through life with that last name. You know what's going to happen.
Mhm.
This is an institution of youth and learning. What do you think is going to happen?
big emphasis on the youth.
What I think happened was that on some donation pages you can donate with your name attached or you can donate anonymously. I think this guy donated on like some website where you can donate millions of dollars to institutions. I don't know if that really exists, but
Definitely
he
does.
forgot to check that box where it says donate anonymously.
Yeah.
And just woke up the next morning is like with that email from Father
no.
Peter saying,
Yeah.
"Thank you so much for donating $20 million. We're naming this hall after you." It was like, oh shoot. This is going to be my legacy.
I love the idea that this millionaire woke up one day. He's like, I'm just going to donate online. I'm typing in my credit card.
What's my credit card?
He's over there like this.
Like, I've got a few million I can spend. I hope my
Yeah.
credit limit is high enough on this one.
I'm so excited next week to debut our cease and desist letter.
From the Drostic family.
We're not getting a new studio at all. That's all I know.
The millions he donated not coming to Dauphren Hall. Nick, why don't you take us into the movies coming up this weekend?
All right, so we have Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire, PG-13, an adventure comedy when the discovery of an ancient artifact unleashes an evil force. Ghostbusters, new and old, must join forces to protect their home and save the world from a second ice age. Featuring Paul Rudd, McKenna Grace, and Carrie Coon.
That is not new and old. Those are all new people to the Ghostbusters franchise.
But they didn't list any of like the old people, but like the original cast is coming back.
Really?
Yeah, or like some of them.
Mm.
I don't remember their names, but I've seen the commercials. They're the people I recognize are there.
Okay, interesting how
On
they
top
don't
of-
have top billing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a little odd. Don't really know. I can't explain that one if I'm being honest with you.
Next up on our list, we have Immaculate, rated R, a horror film. Cecilia is welcomed into a seemingly help me out with this one.
Idyllic.
Thank you. Italian convent. But when she learns that she is also miraculously with child, she becomes a central figure in something dark and sinister.
Isn't this just the plot of the Bible?
Yes.
Thank you.
Featuring Sydney Sweeney.
I don't know if it's the exact plot. It's got some similarities, but yeah.
Well, I don't know about the Italian part, but you know,
That
there
is
are
true.
parallels.
The Italian part is the only discrepancy.
Uh-huh. I've seen a lot of ads for this movie, and this is the first time that I was able to
Discern the plot?
Yes.
Yeah, me as well.
so happy we included this today.
All right, that film is going to be featuring Sydney Sweeney, Simona Tabasco, and Alvaro Morte.
I think you pronounce that better than any of us would.
Finally! Next, we got Luca, a PG animation / adventure / comedy / re-release.
Yeah, this is
I
already
was
out.
gonna say this came out
It's
like
about-
2 years ago.
Oh,
I
it's
was about
because
to
it never
say.
came out in theaters.
Well, good for them.
All right,
Good for
another
Disney.
Good for the individual people who made
Oh,
this
okay.
movie, I guess.
Thought you were hyping up Disney. Like they have enough
I
money.
don't know if this is Disney.
Luke, it's got no.
It's
100%.
Pixar.
It's-
I'm willing to bet money on this. It's Pixar.
Do you want to read the plot?
Yeah,
on
you
the
read the
Italian
plot, I'll look it up.
On the Italian Riviera, an unlikely but strong friendship grows between a human being and a sea monster disguised as a human, featuring Jacob Tremblay, Jack Dylan Grazer, and Emma Berman.
Yeah, it's Pixar.
I tried.
I'll put my Venmo in the group chat. And last, we have Roadhouse, a rated R action / thriller on Amazon Prime only, premiered yesterday. An ex-UFC fighter, Dalton, takes a job as a bouncer at a Florida Keys roadhouse, only to discover that his paradise is not all it seems. Featuring great Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I know how to pronounce Jake. Thank you very much.
We weren't sure.
Daniela Melchior.
Sure. I don't know either. Just keep
And
rolling with it.
Conor McGregor.
What's up, man? What's up, dude? No way. Connor?
Of course I know Conor. I'm messing with you.
Oh, okay.
The fact that we fell for that completely definitely says stuff about us and not you.
This sounds like an awful movie, but moving on. Fun events on campus this weekend. Today, the Centralized Research Computing Facility, or CRCF, for those of you in the know, which manages Villanova's campus high-performance computing cluster. What?
I never knew about this.
Okay, I'm going to restart that. The Centralized Research Computing Facility, which manages Villanova's campus high-performance computing cluster, Augie, will be holding the annual all-hands meeting dubbed Augie Fest today from noon until 1:30 p.m. in Fall V 205. The event this year will contain in-person or virtual attendance options, with in-person attendees receiving lunch and the opportunity for new user training and Augie access. What?
This is crazy, actually.
Never heard of this in my life. Acapella Palooza, huge, 7 p.m. at Jake Nevin Court. Yeah, that's court. Acapella Palooza is regarded as the Villanova acapella community's biggest performance of the year, where all 8 acapella groups perform a 10-minute song set, complete with themed wardrobing and choreography. It's a good time. I went last year. It's a lot of fun. Brazilian Carnival Night and Food Truck Friday at Cafe Nova at 8 p.m. Join CAT, BRASA, and LASO for a carnival night of Latin music, food, dancing, and more. On Saturday, the Nova Step Nation Spring Showcase will be taking place. The Nova Step Nation is Villanova's only non-Greek affiliated collegiate step team. I am learning so much today.
Are all step teams associated with the Greek culture,
I
or is
don't-
this like fraternities?
As a Greek person, I have legitimately no idea at all. Well, as our newest and youngest dance group, Step Nation has their first showcase taking place at 2 p.m. in the Mullen Center.
We got to get them on the show. They need to explain
Yes.
some things.
Yes. And on Sunday, you are invited to the OFSL. There have been so many acronyms thrown around in this portion, but anyway, the OFSL annual Easter egg hunt from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Riley Ellipse. We plan to have the event rain or shine, but if the weather is terrible, we will likely have indoor activities, not the outdoor egg hunt. All are welcome and everything is free.
I'm glad they clarified that.
Yeah. Well, our deep thought of the week, an optimist is the human. Yeah, we don't have the Twitter poll, so we're just skipping that. Yeah. An optimist is the human personification of spring. Thanks to our executive producer, Mandy Love Ledbetter, and stay tuned for Swingin' Fridays. You've listened to The Morning Roar. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Villanova University's WXVU Villanova, serving the main line, including Montgomery, Delaware, and Chester